Your friend steps out from behind the door, and your body does something strange. Not scream, not run, not swing, nothing. For about half a second, maybe a full second, you are completely still. Arms out maybe, eyes wide, no sound. And then the scream, the curse, the shove, the laugh. But that gap at the beginning, that frozen moment before any of it, that is what we are actually talking about. Because it makes no sense. You are a human being with a nervous system built over millions of years to handle threats, fight or flight, adrenaline, all of it. And the first thing your body does when someone scares you is absolutely nothing, or that is what it looks like. The real answer involves a shortcut your brain takes without telling you, a survival mechanism so old it shows up in fish, and the reason your body cannot tell the difference between a lion and your friend in a hoodie. That frozen second is not panic, it is not weakness, it is the system running exactly as designed. You just never got a look at the design. The obvious explanation is adrenaline. Threat detected, glands fire, heart rate spikes. Fight or flight. That is real. But fight and flight are both movement. Freezing is the opposite, and the standard model has no good answer for why stillness comes first. For a long time, the freeze was treated as overflow. Signal too loud, system crashed, a glitch. Except the glitch is too consistent. Same half-second delay, same physical signature. Nearly every person, nearly every time. You do not randomly crash the same exact way for your entire life. That is not malfunction. That is design. So the question is not why it broke. The question is what it was built to do, and why that answer matters a lot more than most people realize. Joseph Ledoux was studying rats when he found a part of the answer. In the 1980s and 1990s, Ledoux mapped how the brain processes threat signals. What he found was that the signal does not take one route, it takes two, simultaneously. One path goes directly to the amygdala, fast, low resolution, carrying just enough information to say something changed, decide now. The other path runs through the thalamus to the cortex, where the brain does full processing. What is it? How dangerous is it? What should happen next? The direct route is faster. By the time your cortex finished identifying your friend not a threat, this is funny, your amygdala had already fired and your body was already mid-response. You froze before you even knew what you were freezing at. That is the design. A crude fast response is better than a slow accurate one when the threat is real. Being wrong occasionally is survivable. Being too slow was not. But that explains the speed, not why the first response is specifically stillness. This is where it gets older. Much older. Tonic immobility is a reflex, involuntary, rapid, temporary paralysis triggered by perceived threat. Not learned. Not unique to humans. It shows up in fish, insects, birds, and mammals. Built in across species, which means it is ancient and it earned its place. Predators key on movement. A threat tracking you by motion loses you the moment you stop. One that has not fully located you may walk past a still target entirely. Freezing also suppresses sound, no movement noise, no crashing underbrush. In some documented cases, it mutes pain response and drops heart rate. The freeze is not inaction. It is the first line of defense, firing before fight or flight even gets its turn. Your friend jumping out is the version where everything resolves quickly. Your amygdala fires, you freeze. Within half a second, your cortex arrives with context that is your friend. That is a game. This is funny. The freeze lifts, the laugh comes. Done. Now take the context away. A real emergency does not come with a punchline on the other side. The amygdala fires the same way something changed without warning, but when the cortex arrives, it has nothing reassuring to report. The freeze was real. The threat was real. And unlike the hallway, nobody is laughing. From the outside, this is where things go wrong. In the hallway, frozen looked temporary and funny. In a real emergency, frozen looks like a choice. It looks, to someone who was not there, like the person could see exactly what was happening and simply did not move. That assumption has consequences, real ones. Survivors of violent crimes are routinely asked some version of the same question afterward. Why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you run? Why didn't you scream? In courtrooms, that question becomes a tool. Defense attorneys have used the absence of physical resistance response, something the nervous system produced without asking permission to cast doubt on whether a crime occurred at all. Researchers who study trauma testimony have documented this pattern extensively. Freeze responses are among the most consistently misread behaviors in legal settings, not because juries are malicious, because the assumption underneath the question feels like common sense that any person in genuine danger will physically resist if they really want to escape. That assumption is so deeply embedded it does not register as an assumption at all. And survivors carry the same question internally. I was right there. I saw what was happening. Why didn't I do anything? The answer that their nervous system made a survival calculation before they had any conscious say in it is something most of those people are never told. Training can shift this. Firefighters and emergency responders drill the same scenarios repeatedly, not because they are braver, but because familiarity changes what the nervous system reads as inescapable. Freeze gets triggered when a threat feels both severe and unnavigable. Repetition removes the second part. That is often enough to keep fight or flight available instead of shutting everything down. But most people watching this are not emergency responders. And the more useful thing, the one that requires nothing but time and a straight answer, is knowing this before you ever need to. Here is what that half second actually is. Your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Not freezing up, freezing by design, buying time. Cutting sound, reading the threat before committing to a response that cannot be taken back. Most people who froze when something real happened would tell you they did nothing, that they blanked, that they failed some test they did not know they were taking. Their nervous system would tell a different story. Back to the hallway. Your friend is laughing, your heart is still hammering. And now you know exactly what happened in that gap. Not a malfunction, not a blank, not a failure. Your brain did not go empty in that moment. It went first.